So by show of hands, how many people in this group are mothers? And what has she done to help?
Phony.
Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Nobody doing nothing.
A 30 minute Zoom conference, and then she's gonna pass you down to Brianna. And then Brianna gonna pass you down to somebody else.
It's just basically pass downs. Pass down and pass down. Yeah. They throwing our complaints out the window.
So when is it that we can sit down for longer than a 30-minute Zoom conversation?
So what I'm going to tell you is how, because I have 100 crises, I have a scheduler. I don't keep my schedule. I have very competent people that are smarter than me who do work for my office.
I never knew a human snake could shed its skin in my face. Before you stole the mom story, and now you tried to evict a woman who you put in a house. Now you trying to kick her out and her kids. This has to stop now.
I am Talani King.
And I'm Misty Cross.
We are two of the original founders of Moms for Housing. Carol Fife exploited me and my family in our most vulnerable time of our life.
Carol Fife is an habitual liar. She has not done what she was supposed to do as a city council rep. We do not want her to continue to fail us for 4 more years.
Back in the day, we'd hit 311, trash would vanish. Now it's 6 weeks deep, the block look famished. Tickets get clear, but the garbage don't move. That's government magic, accountability removed. Hey yo, Barbara Lee, get your ass off IG. No parades for the ballers while we living in debris. Carol Fife's voicemail got me talking to the void. Westo pride, but the pride's been destroyed.
Somebody dumped this here? So y'all see, illegally dumped right here, just like knocked down the whole fucking building. This is hazardous as fuck. You're seeing this in real time. This is like a whole fucking building.
And I want to be clear. I sat as an executive board member on the NAACP for years. And I was told as a young organizer in the NAACP to be quiet. I was told to not be so controversial. Don't shake the trees around disparities in housing and businesses and jobs and many things. That I was too rambunctious. And if I just was a little quieter and worked better with people, then our day would come. So I take issue with that. And I will never be silent on issues that impact the people who look like me. Because we make up the majority of people living on the streets, who are our seniors. We make up every single indicator, negative indicator, in this city for the things that are going wrong about Oakland. So I regret that the individual that it has spoken about me over 3,000 times on social media is not here to see how I've been fighting for Black folks and minorities in this city. And I'm taking the privilege of chair because I don't talk about what I've experienced trying to push for equity in Oakland for Black people. So I want to set the record straight. But what I do know is that sunlight is the best disinfectant. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Peace, Oakland. You're right about that. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And let's make it 3,001 times, Councilmember Carol Fife. How many times have you mentioned Donald Trump's name and for every excuse for your failed leadership? How many times, huh? You know. Anyway, let's get into it, y'all. So, for years now, I have been warning you about Carol Fife. I've been warning you about her violent husband. I have been warning you about her grifting nonprofits. But today, we're going to really let you know. I want you to share this video with everyone. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is one of the more important videos I've ever made. It is very important to expose when people are seriously holding back the city of Oakland. How many people are still falling for this con woman? Well, if you've still been falling for her and you're watching this, I dare you to point out errors or omissions in my fact or my logic. I dare you to refute the evidence that we're presenting today. Tell me it's not true, because no one ever seems to be able to do that. Yeah, they try to assassinate my character. They give you ad hominem attacks. They want to deflect for people in power. They want to call me a grifter. How am I a grifter? I don't work for the city. I don't take public money. I don't take public money. You take public money. Yeah, they take public money. I don't do any of those things. But anyway, let's get back on track here. So Carol Fife and her violent husband has attacked and threatened multiple people in the community, including Vincent Ray Williams III, founder of the Urban Compassion Project, one of the most beloved institutions in Oakland. Somehow Terha assisted every single one of her public appearances as her bodyguard, but has time to run 2 nonprofits where he makes over $300,000 a year from both of them combined. All of them that got money right after Carol Fife was elected, and none of them have registered properly with the state. The defund the police efforts at Laney College are directly related to Coach Bean's death. Coach Bean wanted more armed police, and he said so just days before he was killed. But Carol Fife and her grifting husband helped defund Peralta schools. That's a fact. That's a fact. Fife also delayed paving in the city of Oakland, costing us over $5 million, as well as countless people who got their tires popped. Something that really harms that working class that they claim to care about. The city tower mothers called her Phony Fife. She claims to care about moms for housing, but she ignores the moms with housing needs. The hypocrisy could not be more startling. So 2 of the moms for housing have also exposed her, as you just saw, as well as former Black Panther Elaine Brown. Powerful people controlling California are using our taxpayer dollars to line their pockets and steal from us and intimidate voters at the same time. It is time to end it. This is very serious. I joke a lot, but all jokes aside, Carol Fife also helped Sheng Thao try to defeat her recall. We're going to present all the evidence in black and white. Also, she's the only person mentioned twice in that leaked racist memo that the FBI got as part of Sheng Thao's investigation into her corruption, which was in the possession of her chief of staff, and that meeting was held at City Hall on the people's dime, and obviously shows plans to strip our freedom of speech. Nothing could be more deplorable. And Carol Fife, as you clearly can see, has carried out her directive to undermine the Oakland NAACP. It is time for her to resign. In Oakland, where political corruption has too often flourished, District 3 Councilmember Carol Fife has for years faced serious questions about improper financial dealings. She was once celebrated as a grassroots champion of the marginalized, but now she's linked to a shady network of nonprofits connected to her husband's family and close associates that have somehow allegedly skirted legal requirements, obscuring millions in spending and failing to provide even basic transparency. Powerful friends buy you a lot. Money buys everything. Money buys everything. And at the center of this controversy is Affect Real Change, founded in 2015 and now run by Fife's husband, Earl Harper, along with Earl Harper's family members and associates, all from Louisiana. This organization's revenue surged from roughly $100,000 before Carol Fife was elected in 2020 to more than $9.2 million in just a few years. And since 2020, it's reported over $9 million in expenses, including more than 4.2 categorized vaguely as other expenses, like gift cards we can't really track. Key tax filings are missing, including 2020. And in 2022, the group reported $4.5 million in spending, only to describe it as to develop safe. Couldn't even finish it, no further explanation. We're going to get on to it, don't even worry about it. We're going to show the receipt. Oh, did I say it? That the nonprofit is also not registered with the California Attorney General's Registry of Charitable Trusts as required by law. Meanwhile, more than $660,000 in compensation has been paid since 2021, just from this one nonprofit, not including the other one, including the Earl Harper and his family. Additional scrutiny extends to Community Ready Corps, which shares leadership ties and has faced compliance issues, Moms for Housing, anti-police terror project. You know what? Let's just get into it, y'all. Like, seriously. Let's just jump right on in. All right. Today we're talking about sunlight is the best disinfectant, and I do agree with you. I agree with you, Fife. Let's get some sunlight on you today. Quick presentation. Remember, Carol Fife was very transparent about her intentions. She's in the house, and she came here to burn it down. And think about the condition of West Oakland and District 3 in the past 5 years since she was elected. Now, about those using black people as tokens, you see here I have a great picture of the squad, or as I call them, the grifters. Carol Fife, mentioned twice, was instructed to outreach to the NAACP. You notice how she mentioned her in that little speech she did in council this week when we were talking about the disparity study and how she was trying to take her name off of it. She was mad at me because I just mentioned what she said in her own rules committee meeting. She wanted to remove her name from the study. She didn't want us to know that, I guess. But here she is, directed to use black people as tokens and to pay attention to read. Remember that city council members Carol Fife, Dan Cobb, Rebecca Kaplan, all said no to the recall. Carol Fife thought that Sheng Thao was a credible person, that she was not a criminal. To this day, she has not said she was wrong. She still supports Sheng Thao to this day. She supports her on record and showed us, or Harper, Toha, Aka, whatever this guy's name is. Now, Oakland NAACP president said after this news broke that it's time for accountability at City Hall. We're not asking for apologies. We're demanding justice. Our community has been vilified, disrespected, and used. And anyone who participated in a scheme to tokenize black people or mock black leadership has no place working for the city of Oakland. That means you, Carol Fife, you have no place working for the city of Oakland. Again, you should resign. So here is an anatomy of a grifter. And is Oakland City Council member Carol Fife running an illegal $9 million nonprofit in Toha? Remember, they have not registered. Check this out yourself. Check it out yourself. Go to the website. Very easy to confirm this. Just put in Effect Real Change. Remember, Effect Real Change is lavishly funded. We have a whole other episode about this. I'm not going to be redundant. Go watch Nonprofit Wars Part 1. Go watch every episode we have on the nonprofit industrial complex. But today, we're just talking about Carol Fife. Now, remember, they were registered in 2017 to 2020 in Monroe, Louisiana. And she used to be the president. She founded it and served as president from 2017 to 2020. And they were registered in Louisiana in 2015, and a year later with the California Secretary of State. Don't confuse that with the non-registry with the Attorney General. And her boyfriend, Earl Harper, as you see, always right here, is now the president, and her mother is the secretary, and Shay Malik Bowe is the secretary, and Earl Harper's mother is the treasurer. And since 2017, they've raised $9.6 million, with $9.2 million of that being raised since 2020. The same year, Carol Fife was elected to Oakland City Council. What a coincidence. Just like Congress, as soon as they get elected to office, all of a sudden they get rich. But they're our heroes, right? 96% of Effect Real Change revenue has been generated since Fife's election to City Council in 2020. Let's look at the evidence. Here you go. In 2017, they took in 106. 2018, 113,000. 2019, 113,000. 147,000, I'm sorry, I'm typo there. And since 2020, which is missing, by the way, notice it just can't find 2020. It just skipped to 2021. They still haven't done 2020. And they just all of a sudden have $4 million. And they got another $2 million. I don't know. Nothing wrong, nothing to see here. Oh, did I mention that since 2021, the officers of Effect Real Change received over $600,000 in compensation. We mentioned that just a few minutes ago. There are the receipts. Harper's getting money from 2 different nonprofits that are doing kind of the same thing. This whole ecosystem is quite robust, and we can't really figure out where they get their money from. Who knows? Who knows? Here is Community Ready Corps. The top one is 2023. The bottom is 2022. As you see, Harper's getting $200,000 from this one and just under $200,000 the previous year, while earning double, working 2 nonprofit jobs. I don't know what he's doing. He's always following Fife around like a little puppy, not sure what he's doing. Maybe Sheng Thao will answer one day. Maybe someone will actually ask these people one day. You're going to find out why they've been protected in just a minute. In 2022, Effectual Change reported spending $4.5 million on program service expenses. The description of the service that they reported was to develop SAFE. They didn't even finish the application. No further information. There you go. There are the receipts. As always, I say scammer alert. It's a scam. It is a scam. Now let's talk about the Anti-Police Terror Project, founded by my favorite, let me be nice to her since she's in recovery. I'm not going to call her a crackhead. Crackhead in recovery, Cat Brooks. Sheng Thao was also a founder of the Anti-Police Terror Project. He co-founded it with Cat Brooks. Did you know that? You didn't know that. So notice how this ecosystem all works. And sometime before November 22, the Anti-Police Terror Project received $3.5 million from an anonymous Bay Area family, Quinn Delaney. The organization decided to get most of it away. It kept $400,000 to fund its community center. That's closed. It's never opened in our neighborhood. And it allocated $400,000 to a mutual aid project run by the Community Ready Corps. So this money all just flows around. Must be nice. Let's talk about John Beam, rest in peace. So you can see the damage that these people's ideology has caused. So when remember the Community Ready Corps was busted trying to get a contract from Laney College from the Citizen, a student-run paper at Peralta District. And they were fined for this, and they still haven't paid that fine. Last Chance University voiced concerns about the college security 2 days before his targeted deadly shooting. We have a whole episode on that. I suggest you watch it. Now remember, prior to establishing Community Ready Corps, the community-based security fund was awarded a $2.1 million contract. So much money in to defund the police and this activism, getting rich off of Oakland and our pain and misery. This is why I think these people are so disgusting and why I will never stop talking about them until they're punished for what they've done to the city. But I digress. Harper and Carol Fife, currently a member of Oakland City Council, operated another Oakland-based security company called Urban Shield Services. In 2008, Urban Shield Services received 2 citations from the California Bureau of Security and Investigative Services due to misconduct by its employees. Guess that we protect ourselves doesn't work too well, or John Beam would still be alive. Sorry for that, bro. Blame Carol Fife, blame Harper. They're directly responsible for this man's death. Don't think any otherwise. Again, point out errors or omissions in my fact or logic. I dare somebody to debate me one of these days on a live stream. No one ever seems to manifest when it's time to do that. Let's move on. So this guy, Carol Fife, tweeted on February 16, 2023, aggression and harassment masquerading as free speech is a justification for violence. Know the difference. She's an elected official. Oh, did her husband beat anyone up? Yes, he did. He was charged with battery 1 year after a confrontation at a homeless camp, beating up Urban Compassion Project co-founder Vincent Ray Williams III. And that charge was dropped out of nowhere days before he was supposed to go to court. The victim, Vincent, wasn't even contacted. Who was the district attorney? Pam Price, facing a recall, a close ally of them. You see how the cabal works together to protect each other? Oh, it gets a lot worse than I'm sorry, I almost gave it away. It gets a lot worse than the district attorney. Let's get into why Carol Fife is really being protected. If you've made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video everywhere. I'm going to share it everywhere. Please share it everywhere. So Rob Bonta, our Attorney General, we're going to talk about him from here on out. We made our case about Councilwoman Fife, Councilwoman Fife and her husband. let's get up the ladder here a little bit to start touching on some of the things you're going to be hearing in the news in the days to come, because we call it here in Gotham, Oakland. How did I get away with this? Well, one hand washes the other. In 2020, March 23rd, 2020, what was that year? The year Carol Fife made all that money and didn't report it. Was Rob Bonta's Women of the Year. Today's Women of the Year ceremony in the State Assembly was canceled due to the COVID-19 health emergency. My honoree, Carol Fife, an organizer, educator, and director of Oakland ACE Action. Instead of being honored, Carol is fighting for tenant protection and for those impacted by the ongoing shelter-in-place orders. Here's just a reminder underneath that every charitable corporation must register with the Attorney General under Government Code 12585 within 30 days of receiving assets. I didn't do this myself, and I'm going to get into that. I messed up too, but I only got to operate for a year. Somehow Rob Bonta, anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. Let's talk about Rob Bonta's connection with Councilmember Fife. They have a long history of collaborating on housing, tenant rights, and social justice, those lucrative social justice issues in the East Bay. Rob Bonta honored Fife as his 2020 Woman of the Year for her work with ACE and the housing advocacy. Rob Bonta also employs Tanya Love as his chief of staff. Used to employ Tanya Love, who now works for Fife. The same Tanya Love who applied to try to run for District 7, but didn't even make enough, have enough signatures to qualify, and didn't even put her own name on it. I think she only missed it by a couple. She didn't believe in herself enough to sign her own paperwork. That's the first person who signed. Here's another congratulations to Carol Fife from Rob Bonta for his Woman of the Year. And here's another shout out to Tanya Love. This family, all in the family, and they all make a lot of money. Remember when Rob Bonta ordered my nonprofit to seize all operations? Because we had these lawn signs. Yeah, I had a correspondent audit on my nonprofit because of these lawn signs that they said were political. We believe in the power of neighbors to create a safe and livable city. That was called political. Rules for thee and not for me. But back to those Bontas. So if you remember, Bonta, according to Maria Juarez, who told him that it was true that Andy Duong in particular has a recording of you in a compromising situation. To the right of that, you have a picture of Rob Bonta, Attorney General, and his wife, a state assemblywoman of my district, celebrating his birthday with David Duong. Who else? Money buys everything. And there's another $3.4 million grant for a fuel company that just disappeared after the money, which was run by disgraced political operative Maria Juarez, also linked to the Bontas and Sheng Thao in this whole corruption case. Which brings me to my next point. Rob Bonta, like a month ago or so, maybe 2 months ago, was busted for spending nearly $500,000 from his campaign to a private law firm. Now, he changed his story, but the first story was that he spent it to pursue justice. But he won't say how much of the work was for Bonta himself. How is Sheng Thao paying for her lawyer, Jeffrey Tsai, who used to work for the vice president, Kamala Harris' husband? It's got to be expensive. Who's paying for that bill? Because that money possibly for Tao's legal defense? Who knows? Who knows? Well, anyway, that's all I got for today. Like, comment, subscribe to Gotham Oakland. You won't hear this anywhere else, at least for a while. You're going to hear it here first. Eventually, the local news will catch up. Eventually. But got some big news for you guys. Remember, I've been telling you, hopefully next week I can drop it. But until then, I love y'all. Peace. Take care. Be safe. Oakland is a beautiful place. It is worth fighting for, and we will save this city. But first, these people, they got to go. They got to go. There's some criminals, and they got to go. Peace.
Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here.